This video is sponsored by Keeps. Another day in the happy world of YouTube. I wonder how everyone's been doing since I dropped my last video. Oh well. If it makes you feel any better, I love the ending. It seems that my experience with the Chimera Ants Arc is that of pretty low lows and astronomical highs. I'm not going to spoil anything, but this one's an absolute doozy, so sit back and...
I'm glad that he can recognize that it's both lows and highs, but I am very disappointed in his audience for that flame war going on in the comments.
Okay, was it his audience or was it Hunter x Hunter fans?
That's a very good question. Whoever it is, he explained himself quite thoroughly.
Yes, I wasn't. He was talking with somebody on Twitter. And somebody had said, you know, when you present things like that, they sound more like facts and not just your opinion. And I'm like, Mark said like 20 times he believed and then it was in his opinion. How much more could he do for you to recognize it's just his opinion? And that's just the way it is. Like, people will conflate what you said with pure facts. And a lot of the time, these opinions, and they might be backed up by factual statements, but they in and of themselves are not facts.
And he said it so many times. I don't understand what he wanted. Well, homeboy, what? Yeah, it sounds like you're saying that. I'm like, okay, so that's your interpretation of what's going on here. What's he supposed to do?
When the pure facts of it, Triton counted it. It was like 26 times he did some type of qualifier of I believe or in my opinion or for me. So like that, you're just wrong about it.
Yeah. But like I said, I'm gonna go and check out the comments just to see what people are saying. But I can't imagine it's too much outside of people going, oh man, I wish you would have liked it as much, or maybe one or two little lines, just like this wasn't exactly correct. I hope there's not a whole bunch of you, Mark, you's a bum now. How dare you hate this type of thing? But I know there is, because there always is.
This is also the difference of me and maybe even you and Mark. I would have rebelled in that. I would have started the video showing so many comments of just like, you suck, I would have laughed.
I'm saying that because...
No. I understand what you're saying, but I'm just saying the difference of how Mark handled it with just like a one-off joke and how I would have handled it.
Oh yeah, I would have been straight up with like, okay, it would have been a whole video just comments going, okay, no, this is wrong because this, and this. Opinions, objective. We would have been going nuts so cuckoo on that. But he's gotta pull that back. He gotta be a little bit cooler and calm. Because this is his life. This is business.
Okay, that's his business, but you would assume your audience is with you enough to where you could just say, hey, I don't like this stinky. And that's just the way it goes.
But that's a thing. He has to question himself of like, are people here to hear what I think, or are people here just for the thing and to get their opinions validated? So I don't know, because he's got the metrics, he's got the likes, he's got the comments and everything. He knows himself, so maybe he chose the line of just like, I'm gonna offend as few people as possible, qualify everything that I say. This, and this.
Okay, are these people, or are these people characters? Because I can understand there are people out there that are like a Mark who just do not want that confrontation and really does just like, this is the greatest thing ever, I'm just blah, 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 blah. But I could not be that. I could not be someone who just looks at the numbers and goes, this is what's working and I need to keep doing this. As I've said before, we came off our most successful episode of Revisited ever in Persona 5 and comboed directly into ReZero, which has one of our worst ratios to date of likes and dislikes.
Pretty bad ratio.
So we did not carry that momentum into the new year. We just went full stop, no few. We're still doing what we do. There has not been another feel video, mostly because there's nothing that's quite like the
debunking one is so perfect.
But there were people that are just like, are you going to make more Phil content? I'm like, yeah, we love Phil, but there's just nothing like that.
Yeah.
But we could just force ourselves into some more field stuff, but that's not what we want to do. So I can't just like, I have this opinion, but I can't put it out as much as I want to because of the numbers. Mm-hmm. And I would not enjoy that for a job.
Yeah. And this isn't even something like political or anti-abortion or something like that. This is just like, he couldn't come out and just go, yo, 30 chapters, stinky. He had to double up.
And just hope for some better.
Yeah. So that's the big difference here.
This one's an absolute doozy, so sit back and relax as I drown my sorrows in an abyss of Togashi's twisted, cruel creation. Here are my thoughts on the ending of the Chimera Ants Arc.
We are markedly different from the ants.
Far worse based on what? Netero.
Cattle's the biggest thing. Big bomb boom. Those are the two biggest things that I see when people go, oh, the ants are eating people. Just no different than us eating cows.
Mm-hmm. Except we don't walk up to a cow and go, hit their brain so I can eat it.
Yeah. It's language and they're begging for their lives and you can look in their eyes. I understand like a cow moo. It's like, oh man, moo cow sad, but
yeah, people do go see animals in farms and become vegetarians and stuff. It's just like, I don't want to harm this creature. But
when somebody's speaking your exact same language, like, look, I got a kid, please don't kill me, and you just do it, that's cruelty on another level. Did you see the desert rose?
Oh.
Last week, many of you expressed concern that I didn't expand on Meruem that much in my video. This was by design. The material I'm covering today and this climax really centers around Gon and Meruem as well as their dynamic.
Why did you not simply say that? Why did you not go, look, I know I'm not talking about Meruem, but I don't have the full story as of yet, and I will talk about him next time. This is the same thing with the needle thing.
Yeah, why wouldn't he just go at the beginning of the video, this is what I'm talking about, and next video, this is what I'll be talking about.
I'm talking about the fights. I'm talking about these small moments as opposed to this big overarching story between these two characters and Gon and how they relate to each other because I don't have the full picture.
I'm not expanding on this thing right now until I get more information.
It would have been so much better if he did that because the last video I'm like, why isn't he 30 seconds with Kamui and Meruem? And he doesn't go, and I'll get to all this in the next video. But for now, I'm just saying this and I'm really digging it so far in the parallels and blah, blah, blah. Another 20 seconds and you would have cut down on so many comments unless he's purposely trying to get those comments to boost up the algorithm and engagement. Who's to say?
Primarily exploring the human condition and deconstructing those concepts to hold a mirror up to us, mankind, and naturally the Chimera King
Did you hear him? Did you hear him say deconstructing?
Oh no, I didn't.
Oh,
I was texting somebody.
Oh no, that was your mistake.
Oh
sir.
No, she needed help.
and deconstructing those concepts to hold a mirror up.
Okay, deconstructing what concepts?
Was by design. The material I'm covering today and this climax really centers around Gon and Meruem as well as their dynamic, primarily exploring the human condition and deconstructing those concepts to hold a mirror up to us, mankind, and
Hunter does not do this, yo.
Yes, it did.
This is not
because Netero was just like, yo, humans are really cruel, yo, and you have to sit there and be like, yo, humans are kind of cruel. Oh, he's right. This is deconstructing humanity. No, we know this. That's why there's vegetarians and vegans, and that's why it's just like if you watch a video of animals getting slaughtered and crap like that, it's done so for you.
How chicken nuggets are made and how they're treated.
It's horrible stuff there. That's why I'm like, I can't watch that stuff, not just because I'm very squeamish with gore and stuff. I'm like, because I've already had my bout of vegetarianism where I was just like, this is terrible.
What, the animal stuff or the food?
The animal stuff.
Okay.
No, the food is delicious. Unfortunately.
Because then at least you could be like, oh, it sucks and I want to live my life with tasty meats.
Naturally, the Chimera King himself plays a leading role in this endeavor. So, let's dive in. As I've mentioned throughout this story, Gon has always been a positive beacon with small but ever-present instances of darkness, culminating in the most visceral, almost murder of the series after Morel's challenge to the young boy in order to prove himself. And in my last video, I expressed my delight over how this one-time joyful character, due to the circumstances he's endured and currently is experiencing, is contorted and twisted into becoming one of the scariest and most fully realized characters of the series. I've mentioned the...
Again, how is it done? It's not done well. Again, it's not very unique that a happy character goes into a dark character, goes into a serious character.
And he's one of the most fully realized characters in the series, as opposed to who else? Because there's only like 2 people worth saying that for, and it's Gon and Killua.
And this is kind of the main character, so you know.
I mentioned the conflicted look painted across Gon's face in the last video, but what I didn't mention was how he sat. Ironically, or appropriately, this is very much a hunter staring down his prey. Like a coiled trap, he is waiting for the moment to strike, sort of like a snake in the S position. You just know it's a matter of time. If anything goes wrong, if the slightest upset or disturbance occurs, Pito and Komugi will meet their end. This is a kid on the edge, and as we've seen...
No, they won't, because Pito's so much stronger. If Pito wanted to fight, if Gon killed Komugi, in the very next second, Gon would be destroyed. Because don't just sit there and act like he can just kill them out the gate.
Yeah, Gon is not big strong.
No, he is only able to do so because she is distracted.
Earlier, this state of mind makes him an extremely dangerous individual. And you can see that visually on Pito's face too, as they frantically try to figure out what to do in this increasingly tense and dangerous situation. And really, this is where we're picking up from the last video. Pito trying to heal Komugi, Gon staring daggers through Pito. In these scenes, Gon is short with everyone, even Killua, who feels as though he's losing his best friend right now. Up until this point, this was my favorite part of the story, as it forced me to contend with the new reality. Gon isn't the carefree kid he appears to be. A darkness that seems to be bubbling more and more often to the surface is making itself known right now, and it's seemingly on full display.
Pause.
Yo.
Have we ever explored where exactly this darkness comes from?
Sometimes people are just born that way.
Sure.
It could also be everything he's seen around him has kind of molded it. Not so much you can point to a thing and go, this is where the darkness comes from, but just like the environment is shaping him as he grows older.
Mm-hmm. But you know, it's not really. It's just a character getting dark. I don't understand what's the point of all this praise for this. It's not really anything, especially considering the circumstances. Is it eagle time? Where that eagle?
I think what makes Meruem interesting is that he's undergoing the exact opposite change Gon is. While Gon is embracing or in some ways being overtaken by a darker tendency, Meruem started out rather conventionally evil in a sense, thanks to the encouragement of his subordinates or more primal.
No, he hopped out the womb evil.
Yep, beheaded.
He popped out and killed his mom and said, I don't care about that bit.
And then said, hey, and Penguin came up like, hello, Mr. King. Can I suggest? And he was beheaded and go, don't talk to me like that. When we was just like, eat the brains. And he hit Pito with his tail and went, oh, I meant to kill you with that. So you're pretty strong. He was out. It was it was just him being evil. And that's not interesting. Because now we have to go, why is he just evil?
Now, there are characters that are just evil. You don't know about their past, which makes it more palatable, I should say.
Yeah.
Not so much fine, but more palatable when they've been around for, let's say, 40 years. And it's just like, I'm a super evil dude. Okay, this is maybe sometime 10 years ago something happened where they just flipped the switch and they became evil and whatever. But we see the moment he is born, he is this.
Yes. For no reason.
For no reason. He doesn't learn anything. He just popped up. And I would say this would be a nurture versus nature theme. But I can't say that because too many of the ants are simply taken over by the personalities that they had before.
Yeah.
So it's not so much your nature versus nurture, where he was molded into a thing or versus born into a thing, because many ants are just born into their thing.
Many ants are just like, I'm not a fighter. I don't want to fight. Penguin was just like, I just want a name. Things like that. But this just act after act after act of cruelty, or maybe not even cruelty, maybe just like flippant, not caring, just like nothing. Mm-hmm. But then again, I don't care that you're dead, and beheading, and it's very difficult to pinpoint exactly what was going on. But base level,
but that's what
it was
people
pretty evil.
That's what people find intriguing, because you can't pinpoint it, so it opens it up
I don't
to
find
so
it
much
intriguing. Why?
Because it opens the door for so much discussion.
What's the discussion of why is he just out the womb evil?
Huh? I'm hitting play.
No, don't hit the play.
But slowly over the course of the story, he gains a deeper appreciation for certain humans thanks to the interactions and games he shared with Komogi, and thus his devotion and will to protect her makes sense. They're complicated.
Yeah, the eagle.
Hey, that man hanged himself, so I don't get that dumb, simple little piecage back up in here, yo. Bring that dummy back. And God, I love it.
That's a great moment. But he goes, he cares about some humans, no, just the singular human.
But he does say later on when he's fighting Netero that he believes through Komugi that there are some humans worth saving, and he believes Netero is one of them. That's why he wants Netero to join him.
But he doesn't care about Netero.
No, he doesn't care about Netero.
So
he just finds him to be a useful tool.
Yeah.
And he believes there are useful humans out there.
Outside of just for meat.
Yes.
His devotion and will to protect her makes sense. Their complicated, informal, and messy relationship in this story is the most beautiful aspect of it without question. Which honestly is fitting, as these scenes progress nicely onto one of the more brutal and ugly battles in the series. Meruem versus Netero. As a quick aside, I really like how visually Togashi has decided to communicate how serious Netero is taking this battle. He's cut his hair and beard while opting to wear much more physically practical clothing. This helps without words to communicate how serious he's taking this, and from what we can discern, how he anticipates the fight to go. Last week, I expressed all of my issues with this arc, and so I don't really feel the need to repeat myself right now in that department. However, if there's one interesting application or element the narration added to this story that I personally enjoyed and didn't mention last week, was to do with Meruem and Gon's characterization and development throughout the arc. Narration is used in a number of instances to communicate how conflicted or troubled Meruem is, and with Gon, there's nothing. No narration, forcing us to focus exclusively on that hatred and anger his expressions bear. And so if I was trying to express what this arc was trying to say in its simplest form, I'd have to say humanity and the themes involved therein. The good, the bad, and the ugly. And in pursuing that theme, I thought this arc did a superb job. And
You didn't? You didn't think it did a good job? With the themes?
I think it was very ham-fisted.
Yes, it was very easy. It is very first draft of just humans are evil. But again, that whole bomb thing breaks this down so hard.
Yeah, but it's a nuclear explosion. It takes out only the rest of the ants. You could correlate it to something like the dropping of the atom bomb on Japan, where, it's only to take out Japanese soldiers and people and such to end this war. And that's what this was. We're doing a nuclear explosion only to take out the ants.
But this whole humanity and cruelty thing would work a lot better. I don't know I think you said this in one of the comments. It was just like he was in the middle of a bunch of people and just going, needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. Got to take out the ants. So these 100,000 people don't matter right now.
If he was in the controlled people, because they've got no agency being here. They're just regular people being controlled. And he's just like, I can't do anything but kill them if we got to take out the ants. They're too strong.
So it was just, here's the situation. These ants will kill most of humanity just leave us be until they're ready to eat and farm us, and we must leave them to their devices, or I can kill them and stop that from happening. This is this dude's offer of just like, here's my offer. We're just gonna leave you alone until we're ready to eat you all. And you cool with that?
And there's some people that I think are worthwhile that will be protected and by my side. Other than
thumbs
that,
up, thumbs down.
what's up? How, you in?
Is he supposed to be like, you know what? Or should he be like, I'm going to do everything in my power to stop this from happening?
Now, I wonder if Mark is going to misread this like so many people do with Netero listening and potentially like, oh, it's frightening that he might join. And
I wonder, because that's a really big misinterpretation there.
You know what else is interesting? The lack of actual fighting in this arc. I now understand why some of you were upset that I didn't spend more time discussing A, B, or C fight in the prior videos, because those are actually some of the biggest fights in the arc outside of Netero versus Meruem. I mean, I was full on predicting so many more grandiose battles to take place here, but again, that's me thinking that this is a traditional shonen, when in reality, it's not.
I mean,
there were a lot of grandiose shonen.
Yeah.
It was Smoke Dude versus Shower Pool, Smoke Dude versus Cheetah Dude, all of them versus the big one.
The big red one.
Killua came and started fighting. You got Octopus Man in that underground tank bush. You got Killua versus Palm, even though that was just like a half episode. You got Pito versus Ngone.
you got a fair amount of fighting here.
And that's even before not even counting the stuff like Knuckle and Gorn and all that training. Or these one-shots like Cheetah Dude, Cheeto, I think it is, or Cheetu. Cheetu versus the old Zoldyck family dude.
Yeah.
With the biggest fight in question, Meruem versus Netero, for the majority of the action, not even really being a fight, given Meruem's desire to talk and not come to blows. The visuals, on the other hand, for that fight were... awesome! Getting to see Netero go all out to the best of his ability against this foe we've come to learn as being all but invincible was exciting, but again, how the story frames this encounter takes center stage instead. Once again, this fight...
Meruem has never really been pushed. We don't really know his strength, his abilities. He's never displayed his nin. All we know that he's stronger than Pito, and Pito is stronger than Kite. So we don't really know how strong he is. This is the first time that Netero got serious, so we don't know what his abilities are. So it's just two people fighting. I did not find this fight particularly interesting whatsoever, because it's just this big stand, just a punching.
It's a big stand punching, and Meruem was like, oh, that was pretty cool. Okay, can we talk?
And then it's just like, oh, he's punching 1,000 times a second, and Netero doesn't have a single scratch on him, and that just keeps happening until he cuts off his arm. He does.
I think it was his leg.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was his leg. And then he does his big move, and then that doesn't work. Desert Rolls. This was not a particularly good fight. I did not care. I did not know.
It was so pretty, though.
I do not know the abilities of these two people coming in. I just know that they are both strong. And that it is not interesting to me. I've always said that two strong people fighting each other, there's no difference than two weak people fighting each other.
Yeah, if it's comparable strength, it's comparable strength. It's just the stuff around them. Like, a punch to the stomach is going to sound way more impactful with two super strong dudes than two super weak dudes. But then again, the damage is probably comparable between the two.
Yeah, because with strength comes up, durability comes up as well. So it's just a big punch to the stomach and that hurt that person. Okay.
It takes place not to necessarily settle a fight between two fighters, but instead to humanize Meruem and to, in an interesting turn of events, highlight instances where Netero's ego and pride might cloud his judgment. Not massive moments, but...
Humanize Netero in what ways?
Meruem.
In what ways? Because we've already humanized him to such a degree. He was very set on killing Komugi, and then he went, oh, I gotta protect her. He goes off this I'm the king. I can do whatever I want. I'm going to kill this girl, sever this attachment, and then go on to rule everything. And it was changed in an instant. He's already humanized. He goes, I don't want to fight.
I want to talk.
Yeah. What?
Because I think there are worthwhile humans out there. But the vast majority are to be fed. Are to be fed to us.
But yeah, it's ever since he met Komugi, there was a certain moment of just like, okay, he's changing. The Showerproof mentioned it, noticed it, and just like the king is getting weaker in his resolve. I gotta kill this girl. This fight did nothing really for his humanity.
Cloud his judgment. Not massive moments, but moments here and there where he'd be ticked off by how composed Meruem is taking his greatest efforts. Given that he himself has lived his life as an uncontested number one, perhaps this is a metaphor for mankind's arrogance in asserting that they themselves are the only species worthy of moral consideration in these matters. But anyway...
Perhaps. You have to look, you have to look deeper into things like this in order to make it good. He goes, there's not really a whole big amount of fighting, but if you look into the theme stuff, okay, but what if you don't want to look into the theme stuff? What if you don't care about the theme stuff?
Okay, I'm going it this way. The humanity's arrogance that we're the only ones that are should have consideration for morality. Humans are the only creature with morality. A dolphin does not know right from wrong. They just know good from bad. Do not go over there is bad. Go over here, it's good. Mm-hmm. They do not know that eating a fish is wrong. There's no right and wrong with an animal.
If a child jumped into a gorilla enclosure, outside of the few times that it just doesn't happen, child might just get killed, and that's like, hey, that's a child, Mr. Gorilla,
and we gotta put the gorilla down.
Gorilla don't care.
Gorilla does not care. He does not know it is wrong to kill this child.
But the ants have moralities, and they're choosing to eat people.
And the humans have morality. So no, it's not a questioning of if humans are. If there were an alien species, sure. But we're the only ones that have the concept of morality itself. So yes, we should be the only creature to take into consideration morality. Because even if you train a dog and you open a door and it runs out, that was the wrong thing for the dog to do. But the dog doesn't understand that. They don't understand they did the wrong thing.
There was when I worked at Burger King years and years and years ago. Walking home, there was like a little there was a big rim shop, that rim shop over here on State Fair. And it was a dog. The dog would always come up and bark, and I was just like, this dog must have a pretty crappy life because dogs have super sensitive hearing. It's a pretty big, busy street. There's nobody around here to feed him or anything. So I'd take home the leftover meat and just throw it over the fence to him, and he'd eat it. And after a while, he just stopped barking at me. Mm-hmm. It's basically his job is to protect, and he is now foregoing that job for food.
How many movies and stuff do you see where they toss a piece of meat to a dog to distract it so they can get somewhere? Oh no, doggy, don't do that. That's not the right thing to do. You're supposed to protect. You not protect. What's up?
Action outside of the battle here is spectacular. And so while the action is spectacular, the reality is that this entire section of the story and arc is essentially a space for Togashi to muse over certain philosophical questions. And so if for no other reason than to see him pontificate over these dilemmas, I recommend checking out this story. Netero is there to kill the Chimera Ant King, and the Chimera Ant King is there initially to buy time for Komugi to heal, which is an altruistic goal, and eventually to learn his name from Netero, who is holding that information hostage, baiting him into a confrontation. Netero resorting to those sort of tactics to make Meruem attack once again humanizes the ants and in a way lowers mankind's standing, which will be a running theme in this.
In what way?
Hold on.
Netero resorting to those sort of tactics to make Meruem attack once again humanizes the ants and in a way lowers mankind's standing, which will be a running theme in.
How does it lower mankind's standing because this one person was so selfish that he wanted a fight out of this strong dude, so he baited him into a fight.
How does it lower mankind standing when Netero does not want to fight an individual who does not want to fight him, so he makes him fight? He's going, I'm not gonna sit here and attack an unarmed man. We're gonna fight, because otherwise you're just sitting there and I'm beating a person with their arms up, going, I'm not fighting. I'm not it's police stuff where they're already down and they're still being antagonistic. I saw a video of just like somebody was just on the ground and dude just comes up and just kicks them. I'm like, what the So yeah, it's not human. It's not.
There was another video where a kid was like, one officer was like, put your hands up, and he's putting his hands up, and the other one's like, put your hands down, get on the ground, and he's like, what am I supposed to do here? You're telling me to zap.
Yeah, crap like that. But yeah, he's not fighting an unarmed person. He's not fighting a person not willing to fight him. That seems pretty noble to me.
It's not even noble. It's selfish. Netero is being selfish. He wants a fight out of Meruem. Because if he didn't, if he was just like, I'm here to kill this guy, he would just kill him. He would just do his mission. But he wants a fight out of a strong dude. He is just being a selfish person. It doesn't lower humanity itself because one character is being selfish. And Netero is not an allegory for humanity itself. These are not the themes presented in this fight by going, Netero is selfish for making Meruem fight, and so is it a look at humanity itself because a person is like that.
One person represents all of humanity and one person represents all of antkind. And I guess you just have to accept it.
It doesn't humanize the ants. It humanizes Meruem because the rest of the ants are still like, you guys are just food and cattle for us.
Yeah.
Pito was like, sorry, Gon, it's got to be this way. I'm killing you right in now.
The second word just like, Kite's dead. This is going to be a problem, so I just got to kill you. And he gonna.
This story in one way or another. This is the best fight in the series, I think. Both of these people are stand-ins for their...
It's not.
Gon and
Hisoka
was way better.
Absolute money. Two people that we know their strengths, their abilities, what they can and cannot do. These are just two people flying.
A story being told with the card thing.
Personalities on displays. You got it's a mission with the whole going up and down the tower and all that stuff. These are two people flying and fighting. It's like the Big Buddha thing. Okay, Big Buddha thing. Who cares?
A lot of people.
Of course they do, because it's big, strong. But yeah, Meruem. He's just really, really strong. It's DBZ stuff. I don't care.
Fight.
Personalities, we've seen Netero a couple times, and he's not acting like his own jovial self, so we don't have that to attach to. And Meruem, to me, he's only interesting when Komugi's around. So him just going, can we talk? It's not really interesting to me. Motivations, killing all of humanity versus saving all of humanity? Sure. This is not a very good fight.
This is the best fight in the series, I think. Both of these people are stand-ins for their individual races in this battle that could very...
No. Because the ants do not follow Meruem's thought process right now.
Yes.
And the rest of the humans do not follow Netero's thought process of let's get a fight out of this. Mm-hmm. They sent him there to kill the king. Anybody else that was strong enough would have just went, you dead, sir.
It was very... Yeah, I should have expected this sort of thing. This is the obvious, like, humanity versus ant thing. That is just... Here it is.
in this battle that could very well decide the future of the human race, and as we become increasingly concerned for the Chimera Ants, made all the more effective as during this fight I personally became much more interested and sympathetic towards Meruem, and looked on as Netero, through his own desire to defeat Meruem, whittles himself away down to the bone. A once great hunter who, by the end of this encounter, starts to look like a monster in his own right. And I think that's specifically what this arc succeeds in doing. And just as well, seeing as this is pretty much what it's primarily trying to do.
He is we the monsters, or is the monsters the monsters?
Now, if I know my audience, and I do,
Go
most
on.
of you guys out there are around the age
it's
where...
bald stuff. Keep your hair. That's what it is. All right.
Advance carefully, but swiftly.
Now, something I didn't touch on much of in the last video were the side characters, and while I didn't connect with many of them, for reasons I tried to communicate last week, I thought Nov was a standout. Not necessarily because I connected with him on any personal level as a character, but because I really liked what the character offered the narrative from an anticipation standpoint.
I don't like him. I don't attach to him. But for the narrative, yeah. So anybody could have been slotted into that position.
For the narrative, as far as an anticipation
Oh my,
standpoint.
not even just for the narrative. Wow. So you can't just, why not just, why do you have to say stuff like that? What does that mean? I don't like him, I don't attach to him, but he's good for the narrative.
From an anticipation
standpoint. So if we go, he's good for the narrative from a whatever standpoint, any character is good.
Any character's a standout. He said he didn't like him, but
Any
he said
character
that
is
this
standout.
character is
Any
a
character is unique or good to the story or whatever you need to say in order for them to be poignant.
Character, but because I really liked what the character offered the narrative from an anticipation standpoint. From the beginning, both himself, Netero, and Morel have been the senior hunters assigned to this issue, and of the three, Nov seemed to be the most composed and stoic of the trio. That is until... Another trend I've alluded to in this story time and time again over the course of these reviews has been the sheer determination Togashi has expelled to make this story perhaps one of the most unshonen issues in Shonen Jump.
No, it's not the normal shonen, so that means that.
Okay,
insert.
You didn't allude to it. You outright said it.
He did.
You outright said the words. This is not typical.
That's factual, but, you know, we're taking the spirit of what he means here. I'm so sick of this. It's not like other shonens, and therefore...
Is it good because it's not like other shonens? Or is it good?
Knives Out is pretty good. Not because it explains what happened and blah, blah, blah. And now it's just like the killer needs to cover it up. No, it's a pretty good story, and it's got good actors and blah, blah, blah.
Murder on the Orient Express, and this is spoilers for anybody that hasn't seen the movie or read the book. It's not about a single murderer. All the passengers on the train are the murderer. And that's a way different story than usual detective novels. They were all connected to the murder of this child, and the murderer of the child was on the train, and they all went, we're going to get on this train and we're all going to kill him. We're all going to stab him, and nobody's going to know what the killing stab was. So we're all murderers, and none of us are murderers. So much different from other stories, but that's not what made the story good.
It's easy to just say it's not like other things and then not qualify.
Peace out!
And peace out and let people think about it. Because, hey, we got the fights, we got themes, moral quandaries. What isn't like other shonen? What, Gon doesn't fight the big bad? What? Because that's the whole Cake Island.
unshonen issues in Shonen Jump. If Togashi has a character that needs to overcome something, quite often they will be faced with the cold hard dose of reality. And in the case of Nov, that exact choice was made. Taking the most composed character and after exposing him to the power of the Chimera Ants, changes him into a quivering, scared heap of a human being. And honestly, I thought that choice was brilliant. It helps to get him over as brave, but moral...
and then we have to just ask ourselves, why didn't Gon do that? Why didn't Killua do that?
Why didn't anybody else do that?
Knuckle and Shoot were up against the red dude. Why only him? As he is a seasoned, trained hunter to the point where Netero is just like, I need 2 people, and you're one of them. You get a whiff of some dude in the middle of a castle from far, far away, and your hair turns white. Why? You were a composed person. It's not like you had cowardly tendencies. It's not like we ever showed any sort of, this is just my stoic attitude is just a front. We never saw any of that. Why did, especially Gon and Killua not do that?
And again, I said this would have been a great point where Gon went in crazy because of that but he just went crazy in a different way. Whereas this guy's like run, Gon's like fight.
His lizard brain takes over.
It's fight or flight.
Yeah.
One lizard brain went flight, one went fight.
That would have been really good. But no, he's just very irrationally angry.
Over every subsequent time he rears his head in this story, we're reminded just how frightening and dangerous these ants are, with Nov's demeanor and facade changing.
Is that why so many of the fights are just like, that's comical? Both Cheeto fights. All 3 Cheeto fights. Cheeto fights. That's just funny.
Yeah.
We're just having fun.
Dramatically over the course of its runtime. Such is the gritty reality that Hunter x Hunter basks unabashedly within, placing characters that otherwise would be perfect fits for other more traditional shonen stories where they would no doubt find success and save the day, but in this story, as an audience, we are forced to watch these characters squirm and struggle in this much more unforgiving, realistic world.
What? Are you... So you're saying that... What is he saying, that all other shonen just like everybody is happy, joy, and they get what they want?
No. He's saying that if faced with a conundrum like this, where it's just like overwhelming strength, all other shonens would go, I have to overcome.
No, Usopp.
But he overcomes his fear.
No, he doesn't.
Tontadas.
The one time?
Yeah, that's what he's saying. If it was in Hunter x Hunter, Usopp would have ran. That's what this guy did.
No, but what about all the other times where Usopp does run, where he is scared? Kiji.
But no. We're talking at the end.
At the end of the day.
Yeah, at the end of the day. But at the end of his day, he's still away from everything, scared, not going near the ants, period. But at the end of the day, Usopp comes back. And all shonen do that. That's what he's saying.
But it's not the end of the story, because the story's not over. There's always... Because the continent that they're in right now is full of ants. That's where the ants come from. Mm-hmm. So the story's not over yet. He could have his moment.
But in the Chimera Ant Arc, he did not have his moment. He did not run away and then go, oh, the people are in danger. I gotta save them. Like, Gon is down. I gotta do something. I gotta jump up. Mm-hmm. Other shonen would do that.
I do not believe so.
Yeah, other shonen will. I can't think of a single shonen where something like that didn't happen. But here's the problem. It happens in this arc. The octopus. So do not tell me that it's doing stuff different when it also just does the same quote-unquote trash.
I don't remember too much of the octopus story, if I'm being honest.
He was super scared. He was just like, I can't beat this guy. I just want to hide away. And then he thought back to Gon and them. And then he went, no, I gotta keep going and keep pushing.
I'm getting an elevator and a car in my mind.
Yep. That absolutely happened.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Yeah,
No.
he was a scaredy cat.
I think I was just glazed over at that point.
He was a scaredy cat that mustered up his courage because of his friends. Yeah. 100% happened in this arc.
If you say so.
So just because it does some things different doesn't mean it's not also doing the same things. And just because they didn't have that triumph moment doesn't make it good. Subversion does not equate to good.
Yes, it does.
And at times, particularly during this material, while great, I did find it to be very upsetting. Earlier this week, I found myself reflecting on what it is I like about this story, and while I did like a lot of the decisions made in it, and while it succeeds in making me feel the way it wanted me to feel, I found myself sort of nihilistic and melancholic by the end of it. That's not to say that's a bad thing for a story to make me contemplate, but speaking as someone that is that way sort of naturally, I was kind of waiting for...
You, totally like, not Mark, naturally is nihilistic. I've yet to see
that. It could just be, look, this could just be the YouTube character.
It could be that he wants to not be that, and the YouTube is an outlet for him to become a more positive person, which would speak to him not wanting to say so many negatives, in that I naturally, of course, see the negatives, but I want to speak on the positives because I don't want to be that.
That could be it, but yeah, I don't know. Fugo!
What about Fugo?
He ran and didn't come back.
What do you mean?
The scared dude.
No. You're missing the point. He didn't run from the fight and then not come back at the end for the fight. He finished his fight, he won, and then he went, I'm not doing that. I'm not dying with y'all. It's not the same thing.
What's his argument for the other dude?
He didn't have a low point to triumph moment. The low point was running and I'm scared, and the triumph moment would be coming back and going, I'm not scared, I've got to protect these people, and overcoming that fear. Fugo is more about like pragmatism, like I'm just not dying with y'all.
But it's still, when you come down to it, he has the low point and he does not come back for the high point.
I don't think it's the same thing though. I don't think mechanically it's the same thing.
I don't see how it's not.
We'd have to have this out. Because
from looking at it, it's dude scared, dude runs, dude does not have a big moment of, hey, I'm being a brave dude and conquering my fears and doing blah, blah, blah.
Okay, here's why I would say that's different. Fugo is out of the story.
But at any point in time, he can come back because they're still within Rome.
Okay,
they're a boat ride away, basically.
But this dude never left. There were still instances after this fear of him doing things.
But couldn't that be seen as moments of triumph? Not big moments of triumph.
Absolutely not.
No, but he comes back with the smoke dude and just like, I'm carrying them away. I'm not getting involved with the fighting, but this is what I can do, and he does it.
I think that was earlier on with the carrying away the smoke dude.
No, he does, because okay, let's just put it like this. When he teleports everybody into the battle, it's still a moment of, look, I'm still helping here. It's not like I'm out of this thing. I'm still doing what I can. I'm teleport man. I'm teleporting y'all. And then he comes back. He definitely comes back later and takes him away.
Okay.
Because when else would Smoke Dude be incapacitated?
I don't know, dear.
Okay, then that's all. I'm just saying I'm just breaking down the whole. This is something unique and blah blah blah. Because I hate those types of analysis where it's just like, this is unique and therefore it's good and moving on. So I just had to break that down in any way possible.
Is that way sort of?
I'm sure somebody else in the comment will come up with something like, "Hey, in Rurouni Kenshin." Okay, thanks. I never saw it. You could be lying.
Is that way sort of naturally? I was kind of waiting for an uplifting moment or some glimmer of hope during this material that, perhaps fittingly, never came. So yeah, for the last week after watching the largely negative fallout from the prior video's criticisms, I also got to bask in the emotional turmoil that this arc's finale efficiently administered in my way.
Interview or something? Because this nihilism thing is bothering me. Because this isn't, from what we've seen, that's not you, really.
Go ahead, look it up.
Let me look it up.
We look up a lot of interviews when we do Revisited these days.
I don't want to watch that.
Why not? What was it?
Rogers Base versus Totally Not Mark 1 versus One Piece discussion.
Oh, somebody tried to put them against each other in like a mock battle?
I don't know what that... Let me look at the description of this.
Why isn't there a like anime YouTube analyst like channel for interviews?
That would be very interesting.
We can't start it, y'all. Somebody else start it, please. Because we need to know more about...
We're too far gone.
We're too far gone. We have to adopt an entire character, and we could not keep it in.
We'd have to delete old videos where we trash people.
No, we just have to create a whole new channel under... just like...
Yeah, I don't know what this is, and I don't care. I don't care to know.
Re-interview or something like that. Just some bush.
Oh, somebody said he's wrong about going. I might look at that. All right. Yeah, doesn't look like it, but I'm very interested in this whole nihilism thing because with this whole Chimera Ant Arc thing, I've been looking at his Twitter and everything just to get little snippets of what his mindset is, and I've never gotten that whatsoever. I don't know if he's just keeping it out of his Twitter and out of
public
persona just to keep everything light and airy, but I wouldn't just drop something like that of just like, yo, this that's my personality. I'm very nihilistic.
Naturally, I don't.
I also got to bask in the emotional turmoil that this arc's finale efficiently administered.
Is efficiently coming up on that list? Are we just gonna have to start making a list of that you just hate?
No, I'm cool with efficiency.
Okay.
I'm cool with doing things efficiently, but I don't understand it in media when marking it as a positive. Mm-hmm. Like, the arc efficiently did this thing. Like, I don't understand the connection there. It's like separated in my mind of manga doing something efficiently. Like, it makes no sense to me. That's all.
Unless it would have been very good with stuff like this where you go efficiently, it's not really quantified. It should be like, hey, like in Dragon Ball, there was a theme of life and they didn't follow through with that or something like that. Just something of a comparison of this does it well, this does not, and here are the reasons, as opposed to just dropping it and moving on.
I just hate buzzwords.
Buzzwords are very bad. I'll say that. I'm right there with you. Maybe not as high as you, and I've got my own little buzzword hates, but
yeah, the problem with buzzwords is that they are used as a substitute for an explanation. This character has depth. Moving on. This doing this and this just gives them more depth and nuance.
Yeah.
Moving on. No, that's not telling me anything. You're telling me the synopsis of the character, and they ain't saying that
2 words on
that gave them depth and nuance. Like, no.
Finale efficiently administered my way. And that's not even to mention this arc's strongest part, Killua's desperate struggle to save Gon, his best friend, from himself, and the manner with which this excruciating pain is communicated both narratively and visually.
Pause. But you said... Okay, no, you said your favorite part was the Gon stuff. Mm-hmm. So this is the best part. I do not believe this is the best part at all. The Komugi stuff with Meruem is very, very strong. And
minus Falcon.
Plus Falcon. Put it in there. It's an 11 on 10. The Falcon takes it down to a 10 on 10.
We don't need the Hawk bursting through the window, just scratching her up.
It is shorthand. We need to get to this place, so put a plot Falcon in there and have them attack. It's fine.
So we're just good with the eagle now, huh?
It could have been...
I did name it 3 different birds.
It could have been done in a better way, but we arrived to the same point any way it goes.
How's that an excuse?
Oh no! I want a more comment. One of the bad comments.
Sure, it could have been done better, but at the end, it still would have been the same.
What? That's a terrible point. Dang,
it's as
what
bad
was I
as
thinking?
it could have been worse. Like, that doesn't help you.
Dang. I mean, yeah, Gon grew a shotgun leg and blew Pito's head off, but Pito was gonna die anyway, so no matter what happens, as long as we get to the death, it's fine. Dang, what the I was so hurried to excuse that motherfucking pigeon coming into the window. I wasn't even thinking.
Now, I touched on the darkness and negativity surrounding this arc, and really it's at its peak during Gon's sections. Personally, I think what makes these scenes with Gon so effective is how it integrates aspects of his character we know are there, which honestly translates to a truly authentic negative depiction of him. This vengeful...
As opposed to the faux negative depictions of other characters? Like Luffy crying and saying he couldn't save in person, and then Ace dying and then going, I couldn't save him, I couldn't save my crew, I'm worthless, I don't need your words of encouragement, Jinbei. Just fight me, you piece of fish person.
Like when Usopp left the crew and Nami was like, stop this, don't fight him. He made his decision. He's a man and we're going through with this.
And then after doing it, and he's just on the thing, rooftop, just stoic. Somebody said that that was the longest between the Usopp leaving the crew and some other point. It was the longest amount of time in One Piece ever where Luffy did not smile.
That's very interesting.
Because I don't think he smiles again until they get on the sea train. Mm-hmm. So you got all that Robin stuff, meeting up with the mayor, fighting Lucci and getting hit up. No smiling through all of that. Mm-hmm. So don't just say it's an authentic... Where is a faux depiction of negativity? Where Kuwabara dies and Yusuke is just like, alright, this is what you wanted, you're gonna get it. And then he wins and everybody's celebrating and they're just like, everything's gonna be okay. And he's like, no, it's not. Kuwabara's dead. Genkai's dead. What am I doing?
Because this whole thing is aspects of his personality are within his anger and therefore is justified. So I'm trying to think of just when it happens and it's not like that. Because that's a very odd praise.
Angry and hate-filled young man we see stand before us is every bit as much himself as the joyous and happy version we've previously seen. Elements like his value system, his determination, his intelligence, and his acute instincts color every choice and movement he makes and every short but to the point piece of dialogue he utters. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is, what makes Gon so effective in this role and what makes me feel uneasy watching him during this material is the fact that I still recognize everything he does as true to his character. This arc...
As opposed to who?
As opposed to who? And is that praiseworthy, just saying he is acting very irrationally, but it's within his nature to act irrationally?
No, within the irrationality.
He is still in there.
He is still doing the intelligent things and crap.
But he's still acting irrationally.
Deconstruct.
My biggest issue with this whole thing is Kite is not important to us as an audience.
And really shouldn't be this important to Gon.
Yes. This is going back to Demon Slayer, just like family died. It's like, okay, who cares? Kite dies. Okay, who cares? He's friends with his dad. Okay, why should I care about that?
I don't know his dad.
I don't know his dad. I don't care about his dad. His dad clearly doesn't care about Gon. He's putting him on a wild goose chase and crap like that. We've seen him, chapter 1, he saved him. Okay, sure. What if that was just a hunter with a gun taking out that bear? It's basically nothing. And then he comes up and he's there for a couple chapters and then he dies, and then that fundamentally changes Gon's character. I do not see it. It is not good. It is not a worthy enough person for me. That's my biggest issue with this whole
to his character. This arc deconstructs what humanity is and
Chicka 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 Hall of Fame. It's deconstructing what humanity is. Cause humanity and then humanity. It doesn't matter what it's doing. It's just matter that it's deconstructed, and it doesn't matter how it's doing. It's just matter what it's doing. That's all it is. And what is it doing? It's deconstructing. How is it doing? Well, by showing this boy being almost fundamentally changed from his whole... We've never seen full bouts of anger like this for this dude that died and he can't get him back. Who's that dude? Some dude that he met twice. Oh, father, family, relation? No, not really. Doesn't matter how, matters what. That's all. That's all this is.
This is irritating.
You have to say stuff like that.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do.
No, you really
because
don't.
when you can't break it down like that. This is some dude. His best friend is just like, hey, chill out. And he's like, no. Dude's been with them for some months, year, who knows? Who knows how long? Well, it's definitely been a couple, because there was like York New City, 6 months, meet us here. Let's say a year. He's been attached to the hip with him for a year. This is some dude that he met once years ago and then came up here and he's acting this irrationally.
And they've been chilling for like 9 days.
You can't say that because you have to ask, why is he acting like this for this dude?
Plays his role in telling that story too, and he shows all the worst parts of himself, yielding utterly terrifying results. But not before the absolute worst parts of humanity start to show themselves to us and the Chimera Ants for all to see. As the battle between Netero and Meruem rages on, Netero continues to lose limb after limb, forcing and contorting his body to ignore the issues and damage he clearly has, while charging forward with the same gusto he had been before. This was particularly tough to read through, and the illustrations in this portion of the material are some of the most gruesome looking and harrowing of the franchise. However, when
he is still able to do his Sansen Burisatsu or whatever it's called with just one arm.
The fact that you got that much is incredible. If you got 3 syllables out of them 19, that's incredible.
I messed something up. Somebody's gonna correct me. But he's able to do that without his leg and stuff like that. It's no hindrance to him. He just like, this isn't working, and then he goes to the zero beam or whatever that is. It means nothing. It's not like if Luffy got his arm cut off. No,
or spoilers for Jujutsu Kaisen. It's only gonna take like 13 seconds, so you might want to skip this. 3, 2, 1, okay. Or the dude that can clap.
Yeah.
And he like, get his arm ripped off.
He's like, this is the end of my abilities.
And then he claps with somebody else's hand. It was awesome.
Yeah, he's great. I love him. But yeah, he's just standing there and letting his stand do the work. So it's not like, oh, look at his harrowing. No. His abilities still continue. It's not like the Buddha lost an arm or 5 arms or anything. Nope, it's the same. It's not like he goes, oh crap, my leg is gone and thus my abilities lower by 5%. Nope, he just continues.
And it becomes obvious how outmatched Netero is when his time is limited, despite Meruem's desire not to engage further. After already being forced into this situation, to cap off the occasion, Netero unleashes perhaps the greatest evil humanity has at its disposal. If there ever was a visual that captured the horror that mankind can unleash on the world, it's this specific panel. And in viewing it, it sends shivers right through my body.
A rose... A bomb cloud in the shape of a rose.
Roses
over
are pretty.
A plain field
with
that
2 monsters in the foreground
that had nothing blown up but rocks.
They're chilling. Oh, it's haunting. Nightmares. Look at it.
Is, in my opinion, the most powerful moment of the arc, and in a single panel it said so much more than I was anticipating. And in order to explain why this visual hits me as hard as it does, I need to talk
shaking your
about
head. Stop.
Godzilla. Yeah, the giant atomic breath breathing lizard guy. Yeah, him.
Pause. I don't want to do this.
What part, sir? What part is not...
I'm not here for this. This is not...
but it's needed to do further. He needed to, pump his arms and show his Godzilla shirt.
Godzilla is an allegory for atomic nuclear war and weaponries and blah, 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 blah. Said it in 5 seconds. That's fine. And then humanity, monsters.
But if you do it that way...
Monsters reclaiming what humanity took. And now it's over here in Hunter x Hunter. Yeah, we got it. Please move on.
Yeah, but you can't get that sweet 25 minutes doing it that quick. I need to scratch it out. So, zip, bam, Godzilla.
Music. You hear the music? That's fun.
For those of you that don't know much about Godzilla, long before the giant kaiju monster movies of today, and long before the abomination Hollywood produced in the
He's talking about this, but one of his tweets says, "I'm researching Godzilla for this week's video."
Wow! You know what? Maybe he needed to research specific things.
I hope it's specific thing. But even if it is, you don't need this to say what you need to say.
Go,
I just don't want to hear this. That's all.
But why not, sir? This is what we all came for.
Less than 0%
Is this nuclear explosion?
Okay.
Is it a monster that seems undefeatable, coupled with other monsters that seem as undefeatable, as humanity just tries their best to defeat it? Is that what? Okay, then. So this is what we came for, right?
10:32.
What about 10:32?
That's what the time is right now.
Okay. What's that supposed to be?
How long this takes.
Do I need to go back to the beginning of it?
No, you do not.
90s.
That's a lot of fish.
Godzilla was a film released
That's a
in
funny clip.
1954 originally. Looking back at it now, the effects can be seen as somewhat dated, what with the man in a giant rubber costume.
So you don't need to talk about this.
Buildings. But the interesting part comes when you read into its history. The very end of World War II was marked by 2 giant explosions in Japan. While Germany and Hitler are still very much part of the global zeitgeist to this day, the atrocities and war crimes that Japan committed across Asia during that time period cannot be understated. And in an effort to bring about a quick end to the war, the United States bombed Hiroshima on August 6th, 1945. And unfortunately, thinking that this was a bluff of sorts, Japan refused still to yield, forcing the United States to bomb Nagasaki on August 9th, just a few days later, leading to their ultimate surrender. Despite trying to save lives in the long run and the horror that the Japanese inflicted across the Eastern world, the graphic imagery that came from those horrific actions are still very much ingrained in not just Japan's history, but all of our collective minds in one form or another. And with almost 200,000 casualties across the country, most of which are civilians, it's a snapshot that captures the true horror of war and, really, humanity. After Japan surrendered and the US occupied the country for years after, any film that would speak of the horrors that were seen in the aftermath of those 2 explosions would be disallowed or discontinued. And while there are films today that more directly deal with Japan's side of the conflict, like Grave of the Fireflies, the first that slipped through the cracks was 1954's Godzilla. Godzilla was supposed to represent the atomic bomb that was dropped on Japan in monster form, and interestingly, the version of the film that eventually reached US shores later had parts cut out and new footage filmed to insert an American main character to make the film appear more neutral. But in short, this massive mushroom cloud in Hunter x Hunter, used by mankind in an effort to stop an opposing force, is perhaps the most emotionally evocative depiction of resistance and attack Togashi could possibly have thought of to cap off this fight for supremacy. And if there was a single chapter that I thought summed up the philosophical debate succinctly, I'd choose chapter 288. In it, Meruem describes his issues with the current proposal to fight and outlines his newfound desire to not bring harm to those that are defenseless. He criticizes—
You a lie!
He said it.
You a lie! That's not what he said. He said that people attack the weak and it's stupid and there's nations and borders, but under my rule it will all just be one world, one nation. There are worthwhile humans that are worth keeping alive, and I believe you are one of them, just like that girl. Nothing about protecting the weak. He kills the weak. just recently with that in Hunter x Hunter dude. Yes, you can read him right in now. Other guy.
Yeah,
Almost said your name.
That's what I'm doing here. It sucks because people now know our names. It's gone. I'm like, oh man, because somebody's just like, hey, in the chat was just like, hey, deep name, and I'm like, you shouldn't know my name.
You shouldn't know my name. Yep, he's just reading through it right now. And I want you to point out specifically the part where he says, I will do something about the weak. And I want to hear Mark say it again, just in case I misinterpreted what he said.
Issues with the current proposal to fight and outlines his newfound desire to not bring harm to those that are defenseless. He
Does not bring harm to those that are defenseless. Yep, he's still reading. Still reading.
He does.
Oh, does he? Did I miss it?
To protect those that are weak, but still have the right to live, not to oppress those who have already...
I've already beaten. That's not the same thing.
And also he qualified it with to protect those who are weak, but still have the right to live. What about those
Yes,
who
yes.
don't have the right to
No,
live?
that's what he's saying. There are people that are worth living.
Yeah.
And that's who he'll protect. Those on the side. Because Kamugi is weak, but she is worth living. Not all humans. The ones that have a right to live, which is by his diction.
On the right side of the border, there's a child dying of hunger, and on the right side, there's some trash that has everything but does nothing about it. That state is madness. I'll destroy all of that, and I'll provide a world where everyone is so equal the world equality does not exist. At first, I was using this power and fear to remove the trash. I only used that to maintain order. I have finally learned what I should use my power for, to protect those that are weak, but still have the right to live, not to oppress those I've already beaten.
Not to oppress those I've already beaten. Wait, let me see that. This translation's wrong.
Yeah, it's a not great translation.
No,
but
translation's wrong.
yeah, this isn't Viz.
Because originally he says, I'll have to use my power to oppress the people, to maintain the order. Mm-hmm. And that's the original translation. Or at least a more official version of it, because the official translation can get things wrong.
Yeah. But this is just some bum, let's be honest. Fan translation. Hey,
but maybe I'm wrong.
Everybody's right. How about that?
No.
Mark is not entirely right. He is using very flowery language to make his point. And if you got to do that, you got to do it. But you're missing half of the argument here.
criticizes the current order and outright refuses to fight Netero because he doesn't want to hurt an individual that he believes can bring good to the world. And
oh, no. Just you're a worthwhile human. Kamugi brings no good to the world.
on the other hand, in that same chapter, we hear the point of view of those that enlisted the services of Netero to take care of this problem, with their take on the matter standing in direct contrast with the Chimera Kings. They simply want to eradicate the species from the face of the earth, not seeing themselves the hypocrisy in annihilating an intelligent and, as we've seen, sympathetic species. This book...
Aspects of them are sympathetic.
Yes.
Are you not remembering that there are very many of them in quadrants of the world that have their own territory that are just kidnapping and eating people?
Cheetah man just came into a city and just started beheading people and going, yeah, this is fun. What are you gonna do about him? Yeah, or there's the little one, like the little ant girl that goes back to her mom, like all sad, whatever, blah blah blah. But what about dudes like him that can rip people's fingers off before they can even realize it?
This justifies what Meruem has done or was planning to do, but it's definitely more grey than the black and white issue initially proposed to Netero. It's a fascinating discussion and deconstruction that's explored with words and not actions. However, this...
No. Because Netero, I'm now calling him Netero because of you. Netero goes, this guy is dangerous. I have to stop him, otherwise I'm going to try to talk him onto the side of humans, because he's sitting on the precipice of humans or ants. He's fighting his instinct of being the ant king and just being an evil piece of trying to kill and eat and destroy everything, and maybe he could be good for humanity. But if I believe that he is, this is my interpretation now. If I believe that he is, I'm not gonna give my all into the fight anymore, because I'm trying to talk him down and put him on the fence of humans. But if that doesn't work and he kills me, then it was all for nothing. So let's just fight before I second guess what I need to do here.
There are quite a few actions, and let me tell you, they do all the talking.
もうこれで終わってもいい。
From the very beginning of the story, as early as the second episode, we've been shown fleeting but increasingly frequent glimpses of this young boy's mindset, and this right here is the culmination of his disastrous approach. I really like Gon, and for me, he was the most interesting part of this arc. Not because the other aspects and characters aren't fleshed out as much as they can be, I mean, they are, but I've spent so much more time with the likes of Gon and Killua that really I was heavily invested in what they were doing primarily. Having finished healing Komogi and now faced with what state Kite is left in, Pito has no option left but to attack. The direction this scene takes is such an interesting one and a welcome one. As an audience, in this case, we're in a somewhat unique situation in that we totally understand where Gon's mindset is given our history with the character, and when it comes to Pito, we've been privy with their thoughts.
Which mindset? The mindset of I don't care? The mindset of heal him no matter what? Which mindset exactly?
I think he just means that we know what Gon's mindset is, as opposed to, let's say, Meruem, we would know what his mindset would be in this instance. We fully understand it. That's what I think he means.
And when it comes to Pito, we've been privy with their thoughts the entire time Komogi was being healed. We're fully aware of what both characters are capable of, and Togashi uses our knowledge to create an uneasiness around Gon's character. Having been explained to him why Kite can't come back, he labels Pito a liar. Now, we know Pito isn't a liar, but this verbalized thought really helps us understand the delusion Gon is trapped within. The poor child only sees red. The anime's version of this encounter is equally spectacular, heightened by the musical score, the subtle delivery by Gon's voice actor, and the dark aura flowing around and engulfing the young man. He's truly lost in his own rage, and there's nothing good that comes from that, except for perhaps the best chapter in the manga. Since the beginning of it, Togashi, during moments of high drama, has a...
And you just don't care the fact that he grows several...
Maybe he'll mention it. Maybe he'll mention where all this power comes from.
The fact that he says it's the best. I don't care if everything is it's the bread and the sandwich. That's what it is. There is a glaring issue here.
That you're not mentioning.
Yes. Even if you do mention it, it's such a glaring issue that causes this moment to happen that you can't really say that it's amazing. Because you have to ask, wait, what? How did he get this power? Of course he's strong enough to beat him. Pito, her.
Well, there's no real official thing of if Pito's a boy or a girl.
Yeah.
Or even if it's just like a non-binary thing. So,
but in the anime, it's clear breasts.
And hourglass figures.
Yeah.
Elected to use an extremely inky stroke, for lack of a better term. And this chapter demonstrating Gon's sacrifice of his own life to obtain enough aura to kill Pito is one of the most visually amazing manga chapters I've ever seen. It's so bold and dynamic with some of the most harrowing imagery.
Bold, dynamic, and harrowing imagery.
What is that? What is that in relation to a manga?
So I guess it's just bold, it's just dynamic, and it's just harrowing imagery. I showed one still, and you get it. The rest is just anime. I hate crap like this so much.
Captured spectacularly, might I add, in the anime during the transformation sequence. And really, these scenes are hard to watch, as Gon very much has resigned himself to death. And even after having achieved what he set out to do in killing Pito, Killua is once again forced into harm's way to protect his best friend from throwing his own life away, and in almost doing so, loses his arm. I don't even know what to say to that. And it's around this time we get to see the most narratively complex choice made by
You think he's still gonna mention Apollo?
Nope.
Of course not. So it doesn't matter how it happened, it matters what happened. And what happens? Harrowing, dynamic. Crap like that. What can we say to that? You're not even... Where's the thought come in of, wait a second, how? When does that come in? And how much does that affect something that you like? Because this is just something that's really just very random.
Not random so much as unexplained. Because we know we know further after a while that it's a contract. Mm-hmm. So, and contracts are a thing. We know what they are. So it's not necessarily random.
But we've never seen a contract modify somebody's body.
Unexplained.
Sure.
Oh, yes, we did. Somebody's body. Shotgun dude. Finger dude.
No, that was his... We don't know that.
We don't know that. You're right. We don't know what contracts can do and can't do.
Exactly.
Dude, contracts suck.
They're terrible. And you have to just go over it and just go, this is a dynamic panel before you think about how it happens.
What is going on?
What's
here?
going on?
You're not questioning the series. You're enjoying what you're seeing on the page.
It's just beautiful and pretty and dynamic and just buzzwords.
Harrowing and...
Oh my goodness, Killua, and he saved him and he's missing an arm. Wait, how did he get so strong in an instant? Moving on,
Meruem.
I don't even know what to say to that. And it's around this time we get to see the most narratively complex choice made by Togashi, I think. And one that naturally created a lot of tension in a believable way. Compounded by character and plot, so here it is. Komugi is with Pam after Killua dropped her off to go get Gon. They're gone for pretty much the rest of the story, so you can forget about them for now. Meruem is just about brought back from the brink, and with himself being mostly composed of elements from his subordinates like Poof, he's suffering memory loss. And seeing this, Poof, who has always thought Komugi was a bad influence on the king, takes this as an opportunity to kill her. It creates spectacularly effective tension, and it's made all the more tense as we learn the Chimera King can feel his emotional state, but also loves games, so he plays along. As an audience, we understand that the king gets really good at these games really fast, so again, the tension rises once more. And really that narrative dynamic was, for me, the most effective and potent part of this material. It all makes sense and feels true to all of the characters while involving most of the cast in a believable way. I mean, this involves even Gon to a certain extent, as he's the one who disposes of Pito, the individual Poof ultimately searches for. And with the king using his den and terrifying speed to find those in hiding, it's a fun little sequence of scenes, and I did enjoy it quite a lot, offering Pam ample opportunity to fully realize herself as a character. Having started off at the beginning of this arc as the demonic comedic character she was, by the time this story ends, both on a visual and narrative level, she becomes much more humanized. And speaking of humanized, while I didn't like Octopus Man all that much and found his scenes pretty boring, I mean, come on, do you really need a narrator to use the elevator? You know what? Never mind. While I didn't like him that much for my own independent reasons, I did like Welfin's scene with me.
How about you say the reason, sir?
No, it's fine.
I'm so tired of this. It's like, I didn't like this for my reasons, but moving on. I love this because it was dynamic and harrowing and blah, blah, blah. And it speaks to complexities of humanity and the choices we make and stuff. And I didn't like this, and I have my own reasons for not liking them. Moving on.
Last week he just went plot device and character development. Moving on. Two whole characters, two whole moments. The entire plan hinged on Chameleon Man. Plot device. Moving on.
There is so much cut out of these.
There's
so much information you're not getting.
There really is.
There's so many characters you're not exploring. I wish at the end of these reviews that he would rate them. so I would at least know where his mindset is. Because how much more does he like this than something like Greed Island?
Yeah.
Is this a 7 because of them 35 to 50 boring chapters?
Because of all the 10 stuff, but there's also a lot of 4 to 5 stuff, so it balances it out to a 7. Or is it just the good stuff outweighs the bad stuff, so we're up to a 9?
He inadvertently reminds Meruem of Komugi, and watching as the poor fella is put to the fear of God into was both shocking and reminiscent of Nov's experience somewhat, with both exhibiting significant changes to their physical appearance as a result. But I mean, in the case of Welfin, I think he lost a lot more out of the deal considering how old he looked by the end of things. As things progressed towards the ending of this story, a few things became immediately evident. The king's losing more and more soldiers. He realizes that he's been poisoned by the explosion from Netero, and I realize that this story is one of tremendous tragedy with very, very few bright spots. Whether that be Yuppie's eventual death and discovery, or possibly the most emotional and sad moment of the entire series, Meruem's last moments with Komugi. There are choices made when you're a mangaka in how best to serve a scene visually. What is the best way you can communicate a particularly powerful moment or scene? And in my opinion, Meruem's death does just that. It's perfect. Leaving nothing but black panels and text to communicate what's happening, this choice creates for me a quiet scene with two individuals bonded through something deeply significant to them, all the while our attention is focused on exactly what they're saying. The black panels creating a sense that Meruem has his eyes closed and is slowly drifting away, with the final panel revealing the ultimate gut punch, Komugi embracing Meruem.
おやすみなさいメルエム
I don't think it's at all unreasonable to assert that Meruem is the strongest of all the new characters introduced for this arc. He's complicated, drives the plot forward, and moreover was interesting to see make choices and interact with other older characters. Watching this creature thought to be a monster become much more human than many of the actual humans in this series felt incredibly cathartic and interesting to explore, all the while our most human characters become very much the monsters that they were fighting.
Oh! You know what? I didn't think of it like that.
I'm so tired of this.
Yo! The ants, the monsters are becoming human, and the humans are becoming monsters.
I'm so tired of
What?
this narrative.
Oh my god. I didn't even think of it like that.
I'm so tired of this
Man,
narrative, yo.
man. Did you, cause Meruem, he was all mean and evil and but then
Why was he?
But then
No, why
he
was
was
he?
all good and just like, hey, happy, and the little girl.
Why was he?
And going, he was, hey, happy, and then he was mean. He's a mean guy.
Why did he turn that hard?
And Killaway, he was just there. He was just chilling. No real differences there. Knuckle, no real differences there. Shawapoof, no real differences there. Yuppie, no real differences there. Pito, no real differences there. Netero, he was all happy and joy, and he goes, oh, evil humans, and he stabs his heart, and big boom.
He wasn't evil. He knew he could.
Big
If he
boom,
died,
no,
nobody else would take
but
out
then
the
he
cake.
kills all the ants. That was his plan to kill all the ants, and that's just genocide, and genocide bad.
All the ants
and he's a
didn't die.
human. He's a human, and he's acting like a monster. It's
like-
all there. It's
was like-
connected. I finally get it.
It was
good
like
art,
8
10 on
It
10.
was like 8 ants that died.
Was there?
With that bomb.
Really?
If even that many.
Really?
I think it was Meruem, Shawapoof, and Ulpi. I think those were the only 3 that died because of that bomb. Literally the only generals and the king
Okay,
left.
that's fine. But did you think about the whole monsters and humans monsters?
Yes, I
connection?
did.
Okay, but
That's not good enough to
all
carry
that doesn't matter. All that stuff doesn't matter. It just matters that the humans are acting like monsters and the monsters are acting like humans.
How so?
Well, that's the theme.
Is that enough?
Isn't it? It's here.
Yeah,
This is one of the most praised arcs in history.
For what?
Mark didn't even mention how he got the power. It doesn't matter how he got the power. It's matter what he did with it. And he acted like a monster, even though he's a human. So that's all that matters. Right?
This is disgusting.
Right?
This is disgusting.
Correct or incorrect?
No.
Oh, wait. Do I have to explain it again?
I wish
Gone. It's like three motherfuckers that's acting outside of what they are. Come, just stop acting like you acting like Smoke Dude is like, you know what? Maybe they got a point. The teleport man was like, no, keep me away from them motherfucking monsters. It's a couple of people, and you're implanting all of humanity and all of Antkind based on the actions of a couple of people.
This
And
arc
that's the
delivered
thing.
for me an experience I wasn't expecting. It did deliver some tremendous consequences that I'm sure will be felt from this moment on, like
Kite comes back.
Kite's death,
Whoops.
Gon's emotional break, and perhaps most
Gon acts all happy-go-lucky and gets to meet his dad.
Yep.
significantly, the loss of Gon's youth or Nen. And
Nope.
Netero, knowing
Well,
that
yeah,
there
it's
was a
coming
very
back.
real chance that he might not return from this encounter with Meruem,
What?
left a last will and testament of
Wait.
sorts. A resignation.
Could you go back? Did he say there's a very real chance that he's not coming back?
And Netero, knowing that there was a very real chance that
Knowing
he might
that
not
there
return
was.
from this encounter with Meruem, left a last will and testament of sorts.
Okay.
A resignation and an announcement of a contest to see who will be the next chairman now that he's retired. I have no idea how this is going to proceed, but Lord knows I am interested to see how this story progresses. Next week will be my final Hunter x Hunter review until the current arc is complete, so for now, rest up, catch up, and I'll see you all next week for my final Hunter x Hunter review, the Succession Contest arc.
What a great opening. What a great opening.
It's a really good one.
This end scene's kind of lazy, though.
No.
Oh, okay.
The impression Jing has given me is just what an insufferable jerk. I mean, I really don't like him. I get my representation through the humble they are.
So that's it for the Chimera Ant Arc. 9-5. I know I said no points, but it's got to get a point. He doesn't go to full 10 because he did bring up negatives. Man.
Yeah, I'm going 9. There was a lot that I just like add on, but there was a lot I really, really didn't like.
It's a lot more difficult to talk about concepts as opposed to what is actually happening. That's a lot more difficult to speak on because you can go, yo, this was good because of these reasons, and then we can have a 5-minute discussion. But when he just goes humanity and monsters and here's the reason, it's like, well, not necessarily because of these reasons, and we move on after 30 seconds. So that's I always hated things like that, and this is a big thing like that. Like in Mother's Basement, the My Hero video is just full of here's things that happen, oh, and also the Hero Society, blah blah blah, and then here's things that's happened and why they're good, as opposed to this conceptual crap. I do not like these conceptual things.
And it's not even that I don't like concepts and stuff. I don't like the way y'all dissect the concept of this arc, because it seems like there's a lot of implanting. It seems like there was a console that dissected it, and then everyone else just kind of mirrors the same thoughts of like 7 people that looked at this and broke down all the aspects of it and gave them this, that, and the third. Because I got into the huge discussion with the dude about Gon's gray morality, and it's like, what even is that? So, yeah, I'm not a big fan of concept talk when it comes to these arcs, and I feel like Hunter x Hunter's Chimera Ants arc is propped up so much because people just look at the concept as opposed to the mechanics of it and all the problems within the arc itself.
It's literally that, because look at how Mark discussed the Gorn moment. Didn't discuss at all how it happened. Didn't even really discuss the implications afterwards. It was just the fact that, oh, it's beautiful and dynamic and all that crap, and what it means in the humans no, it doesn't matter. It literally does not matter that it doesn't make a whole lot of sense how that happened. It just matters that it did it, and it did it within the themes. And that's just like, If that's all it takes for you to judge something and it be critically good, like, I mean, what's bad?
What is bad? What is love?
Because you can't for a second just go, what the was that? He's not mentioned contracts. Maybe he did
In the earlier one?
Yeah, he would have had.
He probably
to
had with the Karapika.
Yeah.
York New City. But didn't mention it here. Like, what happened with Gone? Why wouldn't you just say... Because this is a review. A review is a critical assessment of the piece of media that you're reviewing. And you're not looking at enough of the negatives and bringing them to light. Like the Gone, why is he like that? Oh, it's a contract? How are contracts formed? Who are they formed with? How do you get it? Can you break it? Can you change it? Yes, you can change it because later on, the Phantom Lord leader changed his to where I can use both hands now, and now my restriction is just something else.
Yeah.
So what happened?
Like, going back with the Karapika thing, like, Phantom Troop, what does it mean to be a Phantom Troop member?
Can he kill Hisoka now and be cool?
Is it his perception of the Phantom Troop, or is it the fact that they have the tattoo? Is it if they change their name, does it still work things? And if they change their name, can Kurapika be like, all right, now they're no longer the Phantom Troop. Now, if this will only work against the whatever troop.
And how do the chains know that? Like, it's not like the Phantom Troop has a specific nin or something. So how do the chains know they're killing or being worked against the specific thing he needs? The only way I can think of is that it's his perception of if you are a member or not. And if he perceives of some... Like, what if somebody has a fake tattoo and they're a fake member and he kills them and nothing happens and then it's just like, oh, that was a fake member. Does he suddenly die?
Yeah.
Or is he cool? Or do the chains know?
And again, what if it's an ex-member? Does that still count? Like, these are the problems that we have with this contract stuff.
And Gon's thing is just a contract that is not brought up enough.
It happens almost instantly. He gets all the powers that he ever have. And we have to question that, like, okay, is that from this point, if he never trains again, this is all the power that he's ever going to have? Or does it take into account future trainings? Is there just like a pool of nin within him that is slowly like being emptied as he trains and gets older? Now he's just getting all of that? What does it mean to have all the nin that he will ever have?
9? -9.
Hey, whatever. We're not talking about that. We're talking about
The
what
moment.
it means.
The moment and how it looked.
How we're going to show one panel and be like, this is dynamic.
Okay, so...
yeah, I do not like Totally Not Mark. This brushing over crap, just like this octopus had a full-on character change.
And just like 3 sentences.
And because he's just not interested in it. That's what it is.
Chameleon dude, nothing.
If he's not interested in it, we barely got any of the Knuckle shoot and Yuppie fight. A pretty good fight. For the Meruem fight, he just goes, it's a good fight. He doesn't explain why it's good or how it's good. Doesn't even use the word dynamic. He just says it's good. I do not like Mark. Mark is not good. We will not be going back to any past nor future Hunter x Hunter things from Mark.
No. We're not
There's
doing
no
Greed
point.
Island. We're not doing York New City.
There's no point. I can't take analysis like this.
Probably will never do a One Piece either.
More than like, unless there's something where he's like, yo, this arc is big stinky. And it's like, no, it's not big stinky. Something, if he goes Skype big stinky, we'd be like, nah, we talking about that. But
I think he didn't like Whole Cake. I'd have to double check that, but I'm almost certain.
I don't want to.
Yeah, I understand.
I don't want to. That's the biggest thing. I don't like Mark's style of analysis.
But what do you want to do these days? You don't want to do
It
anime
darn
win.
bores me.
You don't
Of
wanna-
course not. Why would I? It's fun immediately before and immediately after. anytime during is like, oh my goodness.
It's like getting a tattoo.
Yeah.
Like before you're like, oh, the design, I can't wait to get this. And afterwards you're like, look at this is so cool. But during you're just getting poked with a needle for 2 hours.
It's like working out. You get you hype yourself out like, yeah, I'm gonna work out, and then afterwards you're like, yeah, you got that dopamine. But during you're like, bruh. Yeah, why would I want to do anime win?
Because it's fun. It's fun in the...
Did you listen back to that old one? To
Which one?
the Demon Slayer that just happened? Dude, I was melting.
We were miserable.
That was barely fun.
No, it was fun.
It was a chore.
It was a chore, yes.
We were on the clock.
There were like 2 or 3 times before the tap where I was like, oh, that would have been a tap. But we trying to get y'all at least an hour. And it was like 1 hour and 42 seconds and we were done.
It was like, done. I leaned back and I just yelled something. I think that you talked about this already or something that I yelled, but I was just so pissed.
You talked about this already. And because of you talking about it already, we're talking about it. We're doing what you're doing. You're making us
repeat ourselves.
Anime wins is fun though. In small doses.
You telling me that One Piece one was fun?
No, but there wasn't a lot there. JoJo's Part 5 was stupid fun.
No.
It was stupid fun.
No.
Stupid fun.
It got more tolerable once we live streamed it.
Mm-hmm. That's why we had to start doing it. Us just sitting here, death. That thing would have been dropped.
But yeah, enough with Mark. He's not good at all.
Mm-hmm. So what are we doing next? Because we were gonna do a Jujutsu Kaisen, but Meme has shown us so many in
Most
video.
certainly. I would prefer to do the Jujutsu Kaisen while it's still fresh, because it is, as we speak, flying out of my mind.
Okay.
Just teleporting.
But what would it
out
be?
that bit. That's a very good question. I don't want to do
Anime win.
You know, that wouldn't be too bad because you never saw the actual anime. Mm-hmm. No.
Oh, we were getting people hyped up for it potentially. Triton, that and Masochist. He's just like wringing his hands like, "Yo, bring it."
Nah, nuts. Homeboy's nuts. Just like they did this video. I'm like, why you watching that? You don't stop watching.
Dude, his information is tremendous.
Crazy. I'm like, stop. You're hurting yourself.
You're hurting yourself for this information.
I'm watching somebody shoot up. Like, I can't sit here and watch you do heroin. No, but it's fun. No.
But then
I hate watching. I love information. Shut up and stop shooting up like that. Or at least not doing it in front of me.
But then the amount he's shooting up is so crazy. You can't help but be at awe at the number. It's like you bought $300,000 worth of heroin and you shot it up now.
Yo, that's a vial of heroin, and I saw you put a worm in that. What's that gonna do?
I greatly appreciate the information so I can have the numbers.
The information is very good.
When I look at the mark thing where it's just like he's qualified, and it's just like, wow, that is just hard.
Having those hard information numbers is very good, just to make it a point. Like going back to our AMV thing of that earthquake video where we go, it's whatever many amount of crossfades in 40 seconds. That's terrible. Otherwise,
I think it was 37.
Otherwise, it'll just like, this is a large number of crossfades. But when you have that number in front of you, you go, oh my goodness, that is a lot.
When you think about it, when you see the number itself. It's just like microtransactions. People will buy $5, $10 here. Mm-hmm. They're not thinking about it. But then 2 years down the line, they're like, whoa, I spent $900 on this thing. Just not thinking about it. Oh, this is a good deal. $5, here you go. 2 weeks later, oh, $12. Okay, that's a good deal. Just straight not thinking about it. Numbers help tremendously. Yeah. My God, Meme is killing it. Triton is killing it. Stop killing it. Stop looking up the videos, Meme. Stop giving us this info, Triton. Jesus Christ.
We're just two people.
Dude, we have so much going on.
Yeah.
It's not...
It's too much. Because, like I said, I desperately want to do that Danganronpa video. But Naruto month...
Yeah, Naruto month's around the corner.
It's right around the corner, and I'm telling you, I'm gonna forget Jujutsu Kaisen
before then.
Yes.
By the time August comes around, you're just like...
I'm not forgetting Demon Slayer, but I am forgetting Jujutsu Kaisen.
Because it was too much. It's too much information.
It's too much, and it was a whole lot of nothing. It wasn't anything that I really hated, wasn't anything that I really loved. So that,
I love Nobara.
Yes, she's good.
I could not tell you her other name. Tug's Collar.
Yeah.
Who knows?
But yeah, we'll look that up. I don't want it to be a Mother's Basement because he did do a... But maybe we can. It's been enough time since Mother's Basement, and I don't think we've got any real Mother's Basements coming up, and he's got like a 40-minute Jujutsu Kaisen is peak shown in type of video.
Yeah, maybe we will do that.
We'll see. There's time.
Read Chainsaw Man, please, because it is basically the problems we have with Jujutsu Kaisen and Demon Slayer. They're just like, no, those problems are not here. Oh, they're sanctioned by the government.
Okay,
point blank, period.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah,
Thank
we get money for them. Yeah. What is the powers of the demon? Oh, some are just zombie demons and they create zombies. Okay, cool. That's all the information we need there. How do you contract a demon? Oh, depending on how powerful the demon is, they'll ask for something. So you may say, hey, I'll give you my right eye if you let me use your power. Okay, cool. We'll take that. Hey, I'll give you all of me if you just save them. And then they're just nothing. They're just dust to save a person from their demon, and then they're just dead. They're just gone in the ether, done. We see every little bit of how they get this power and how it grows and everything, as opposed to in Demon Slayer.
Counterpoint. Snake breathing. Huh? Doesn't that sound cool?
I would accept snake breathing before love breathing. Because the way a snake smells with its tongue and stuff, and the breathing is so different. I will accept that. Love breathing? What are you, haggard? Like shallow breathing because
it's
butterflies?
Just a name. And it's just like, yeah, you see the chart, it's just like love breathing comes from fire breathing and snake breathing comes
I don't give a shit.
There's the major ones, and then everything else is just a branch off from that and whatever.
All right, we're out. You guys have the
Comey can't communicate thing coming tomorrow, ... question mark?
Mm-hmm. Y'all got that? Maybe I'll do that live stream of the Goblin Slayer. But that'll be Mother's Basement. We'll decide if we do the Jujutsu. I think I will play my game today. Yeah, why not? We'll put up, since we're putting up the this tomorrow, it would make sense to play the game today. Okay, yeah, there's so much content coming.
Too much, actually.
Yeah, alright, we're out. We're not doing Mark for a while.
Yeah, definitely not.